Back together again, eh?
Yeah.
Let's play.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Overtime. We have three separate breaking stories we are covering. The most urgent one is in Nashua, New Hampshire. Three suspects appear to have engaged in a shooting at what we believe is was a Jewish ceremony, a wedding, in the Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire. Multiple victims. We know only that right now 9 ambulances had been deployed to that area. As of this moment, we don't believe that there's any coverage. I don't know if all coverage is by WMJR, so that may be a local affiliate that's got it. Thank you, Dorito. And then, okay, I got that message too. So what we know is one suspect has been detained, 2 are still at large. We don't know what the motive was. We don't know how many people were injured. We do know there were a number of injuries. We know one person at least has life-threatening injuries. Again, there were 3 suspects who apparently all opened fire at what we believe was a Jewish wedding at the Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua. We do not know, again, at all what the motive was. This literally, mainstream media has not picked this up yet, so let me just see if I can find anything else. No, I think that's all we've really got on it right now. I apologize. It's literally happening as we speak. One suspect again in custody. The other 2 successfully fled the scene, and the Nashua police are asking for any assistance in finding these people. And I guess we believe at this point one person is dead. All of this is unconfirmed. What we can confirm is that there are 3 suspects that the Nashua police are looking for who opened fire at the Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire. That's confirmed. Everything else is just hearsay that we're getting. Again, that there was a wedding that was appears to have been targeted, and that one person is dead. This is what we're getting just from social media, which we do use, but we always make sure to let you know that we're using it. Its accuracy is hit or miss, but it does tend to come before anybody else does. In fact, that's how we found out about this in the first place. We are currently covering that situation, and we're going to stay on that at least for a little while. We had 2 other stories now, and I see what Porpoise has put in the Discord. We'll get to that. There is some nuance there, but the first story that we were planning on covering today broke a short while ago. A leak from inside the Pentagon, and in my view, this is one of the most chilling stories we've probably ever covered. Defense Secretary Hegseth, according to NPR, is going to be requiring a new, quote, pledge for reporters at the Pentagon. If you're going to be reporting at the Pentagon, you're going to have to sign documentation that explicitly says what you can and cannot report. According to NPR, they have 2 sources, 2 U.S. officials who were not authorized to publicly comment and who told NPR that the Pentagon will be drastically changing its rules for coverage. Normally, and we've already know organizations that have done genuine investigative work, AP, New York Times, have all been expelled from the Pentagon. to make room for other organizations. This is what we see as a pattern of behavior in getting rid of any organization, news organization, that might actually do investigative work and or be critical of this administration, which was the whole point of the First Amendment, was to allow criticism of an administration, the right to a free press being the single most important right. As far as the geniuses of the founding fathers, at least this is what the right likes to say. I don't understand. Anyways, there is a 17-page document obtained by NPR outlining the new rules for media. Failure to follow these policies will result in the loss of press credentials at the Pentagon, cutting off access to basically the headquarters of the largest department in the U.S. government. The DoW, Department of War, as it's been rebranded, remains committed to transparency to promote accountability and public trust. Apparently is what the document says. However, the DoW information must be approved for public release by an appropriate authorizing official before it is released, even if it is unclassified. This is, I haven't seen in a real-life document this Orwellian in my life. They literally say, we are committed to transparency to promote accountability, but you cannot release anything that has not been previously approved by an appropriate authorizing official. So you can't sit there and say, well, John said it was okay. It has to be approved by someone who is qualified to approve it. So, and this includes unclassified material. So this means if there is something unclassified that you would like to report on, you still can't unless the DOJ signs off on it. That in and of itself demonstrates that this has nothing to do with security. It has to do with them looking the way they want to look. This 17-page document, writing about this shift in policy, Pete Hegseth posted on social media that, quote, the press does not run the Pentagon, the people do. A, who the hell do you think the press are? And B, why do you think the press is the right of the people? I'm sorry, the right of the people to bear arms. That's number two. Number two. What's number one again? Earlier this year, Hegseth announced new rules limiting reporters' ability to move freely through the Pentagon without an approved escort. That change has broken years of tradition of both Democratic and Republican administrations. I wonder if this has anything to do with the murder of 11 people on one boat, 3 people on another, and an unknown on a third boat by the Pentagon, by Hegseth, and by the President of the United States. The murder of those people, I say murder because they were targeted, they were unarmed, and they were attacked and blown up, despite the fact that to date we have no evidence of them having committed any criminal acts. And even if they had, even if they were Al Capone, you're not allowed to use the military to blow up Al Capone. He's a civilian. These were non-combatants. It was absolutely war crimes, and has been dubbed war crimes already by multiple international organizations. Now, so to cover the second story, NPR has obtained a 17-page document that all reporters who cover the Pentagon are going to have to sign. This document is essentially a pledge that says that reporters will not report anything that has not been officially approved by an appropriate authorizing official, even if it's not classified. This means that they are not reporters anymore. They are not journalists. There are very specific requirements to be able to call yourself a journalist. This means that they will be nothing more than mouthpieces. All they can do is report what they've been told they can report. That's what this document says. Every single news organization that is going to have access to the Pentagon will only be able to report what the Pentagon tells them to. Welcome to Russia, folks. That's chilling. That's staggering. And the fact that now this has just come out, this was released by NPR earlier today. I think it's one of the scariest stories we've ever covered. I would like to spend more time with it, even on a breaking, but unfortunately there is currently a manhunt for 3 mass shooters who simultaneously attacked what we believe was a wedding in Nashua, New Hampshire. So we're going to get to that, but please do not allow the engagement of more pressing matters to undermine the gravity of this document. Journalists necessarily go out and look for news. Journalists necessarily report things that people would rather not be reported. That's how we discover what Nixon did. That's how and it's so important that it's the First Amendment. Anyone who says, well, it's in the Constitution when it comes to the Second Amendment, where are they today? Speaking of, while I'm on the subject, if I have lost her name due to the sudden new shooting in New Hampshire change. There is a Republican senator. There it is. Republican Senator Lumis has said that she believes that there was a time when the First Amendment was basically above reproach, but has now reconsidered her views and is claiming that First Amendment should not be an ultimate right. She argues that any speech which encourages violence should not be permitted. Well, it's already not permitted. She says that, quote, the FCC license is a license, it's not a right. Wrong. It was determined a right by an act of Congress that said that the airwaves are public property. They do not belong to the U.S. government. They do not belong to her. And they do not belong to the President of the United States. They belong to the people of the United States. It is a right. The reason for the licensing is to make sure that people aren't trampling over each other. But it absolutely, the ability to broadcast is a right. This is a senator and she doesn't know that. It's really a privilege. Under normal circumstances, in normal times, I tend to think that the First Amendment should always be sort of an ultimate right, and there should be almost no checks and balances. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like something's changed culturally. Yeah, you're in charge now. The Republicans are in charge, and you're the one being criticized. That's what's changed. And since you're in the most corrupt administration in human history, which we'll get to in a second, sorry, in U.S. history, I should say, yeah, a lot's changed. And I think there needs to be some cognizance that things have changed. That's odd. I remember people saying that about guns, that things have changed. Guns are so easily available, and we have more mass shootings than any country in the Western civilization. You didn't seem to think that that amendment needed to be changed. Why this one? Asking for a friend. Let's see. Tucker, okay, that's Tucker Carlson. We're not going to get into that right now. All right. So, like I said, that story is terrifying, and we're probably going to need to cover it more. The third story, and then we're going to get back to the shooting. The third story that's breaking now, I think MSNBC first broke it about 5 hours ago. The Guardian now has it. The New York Times has it. It's going around, but it was first reported by MSNBC. Tom Homan, who is the Border Czar and a genuinely unpleasant human being, has apparently accepted bribes in the amount of $50,000 at a minimum from two undercover FBI agents. The agents, posing as businessmen, asked for special compensation once Trump won office, and in exchange they were willing to pay him $50,000, which he accepted. All of this is on camera. All of this is in the files of the Department of Justice. This is a fact. This is not up for dispute. The FBI decided to wait to see if he actually followed through on what he had been bribed to do. Just accepting the bribe is already a criminal offense, but they wanted to see if he would actually give the false businesses that they had established in a sting operation, which tells me he was already committing criminal acts. They didn't just sit there randomly start, hey, excuse me, can we bribe you? No? Okay. You. Will you take a bribe? No. You'll take a bribe? Great! That's not how the FBI works. They already had reason to suspect him. They set up a sting operation. They offered him $50,000 for special compensation. He accepted. He took the money in bills. The outside, inside, the entire exchange has been recorded. Now, after Trump won, the FBI was waiting to see what he would do in relation to the bribe money that he had accepted. Kash Patel requested an update on this particular investigation. It appears like at the time he may not have known who the target of the investigation was, just that an official was being investigated for accepting bribes. Once he learned who the target of the investigation was, the Department of Justice shut the investigation down. Again, it was only after they learned who was being investigated, they shut the investigation down. This despite the fact that, according to the information relayed by MSNBC, they have him dead to rights. He accepted the money. It's on video. He clearly said on video what the money was for. It was for special compensation and special access by these businesses once he was in the Trump administration. This is why they want to shut down First Amendment's rights. This is exactly why. It's because of the Epstein case, which people still seem to, who knew that if you engage in child trafficking, the American public may want answers. Well, you're going to have to shut that up. Who knew that if you use the military to bomb civilian aircraft and kill civilians, to murder civilians, people may want answers? Well, you're going to have to make sure that they're not allowed to give those answers if they cover the Pentagon. That's what Pete Hegseth is doing. And Trump has already said that he said yesterday on a plane, on Air Force One, and we played it, that he thinks they should go after the licenses, FCC licenses, of anybody they don't like. He thinks they should take them all, anyone who criticizes him. He said that. And covering up the bribe, accepting a bribe by one of your most important cabinet members, at least most important to his base, saying that is criticism. True or not, it's criticism. He doesn't want to be criticized. It doesn't matter whether it's true. Just doesn't want the criticism anymore. So, back to our first story. All right. At this point, like I said, we had thought it was a Jewish wedding. We still haven't gotten confirmation of that, but there is a witness who is reporting that one shooter shouted "Free Palestine" before opening fire at the wedding attendees, or the event attendees at Nashua Country Club. We believe there were 3 shooters. Yeah, we're gonna we're gonna be a little careful with Dunstable, Mass Fire Department. So emergency management alert. So this is, I guess it's the county. is on lockdown. Please remain indoors, lock all doors and windows, do not allow anyone into your home. Like I said, 2 of these shooters are still at large. The police do have, looks like a CVB has a helicopter in the air. They are looking for these suspects. Again, 3 people appear to have shot at a wedding. We believe there's 1 fatality, but that is not yet confirmed. What is confirmed is multiple injuries. They shouted "Free Palestine." We believe it was a Jewish wedding. 1 of the suspects is in custody. 2 are at large. We do not know the kind of weapon they used. We do not know how many injured. We do not know how big the party was. We know very little. We just know we're reasonably confident at this point that there were 3 shooters. We are somewhat confident that it was a Jewish wedding. And the wedding, it appears, may have been targeted because it was Jewish, and at least 1 of the gunmen appears to have shouted "Free Palestine." We cannot confirm those events. All we can confirm is that an event at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire, has been attacked by 3 gunmen. 1 of the gunmen is in custody. 2 are at large. The entire county is in lockdown as police search for those 2 suspects. The other 2 stories we're covering today. 1, Pete Hegseth has confirmed what NPR has reported, which is that they will be releasing a 17-page document that all reporters covering the Defense Department will have to sign. This document says that they will not release anything that has not been pre-authorized for release. I say again, they cannot release anything that has not been pre-authorized for release. They will only say what has been pre-approved by the regime before they release it. These are journalists. That is the antithesis of what journalism is. Journalists investigate. They find things out. They are not megaphones regurgitating what they are instructed to say. The reason the First Amendment is in place is because the only check on government is your ability to know what your government is doing. Period. End of discussion. And the geniuses that the right like to fawn over of the founding fathers knew that enough to make it the First Amendment even over your right to bear arms. Because if you don't know who to shoot, what's the point? So freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. This is the single largest attack on freedom of the press, formal attack on the freedom of the press by any U.S. administration. I think Donald Trump saying that he's going to literally saying he's going to pull the FCC licenses of anyone he doesn't like. This is what he said. He hasn't written that down, so that's an informal attack on freedom of the press, but that's probably the single largest informal attack on the freedom of the press that I've ever seen. It's staggering. That and Tom Homan, the Border Czar, apparently was paid $50,000 to give 2 people he thought were businessmen special dispensation when he got into the administration. This was a bribe. Both of the businessmen were actually undercover FBI agents who recorded both audio and video, the entire transaction, and from inside and outside. So you can see him driving up, getting out. They, explain what the 50 grand is for. He got paid 50 grand in dollar bills, cash, took the money and left. They did not arrest him that day because they wanted to see if it actually followed through. But he had already accepted the bribe. Whether or not he was already... they already had him on accepting a bribe. And the implication that I got reading this is he had been accepting bribes for some time. That's how the FBI knew how to get him to accept one. They knew how to reach out to him. They knew how to offer it to him, and he accepted. they knew what they were doing. It appears from what we're seeing that he has been bribed before, that there was a significant investigation into his bribes. There is, as far as I can tell, bulletproof evidence that he accepted bribes from the FBI in a sting operation. All of that was shut down when Kash Patel appears to have learned that this investigation was going, and the DOJ has ended the investigation. We know this because we have reporters who report on things before they're officially told they can by Mr. Gimler and Goebbels and all those others. And yes, I'm aware I'm using inflammatory language, but you know what? They are ending the press, and it's deliberate. It's deliberate. They're not doing it because they're afraid of anything. Mass shootings aren't suddenly up, and I am very sorry that Kirk died. But when Sarah Palin went on Fox News and put a bullseye on the heads of every congressman that she didn't like, including Gabby Giffords, who ended up being shot in the head 4 days later, I didn't see any conservatives coming out and saying, oh, no, the media, Fox News. Who, by the way, in every survey, if you want to see who is the most ignorant following of any news, it's Fox News. There are people who watch Fox News who still think that there actually were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They know fewer facts than those who watch any other news organization, just known facts. But that's not the one we're going to target, the one that does misinformation. Do you know how many clips we have of them fomenting violence? No. It's a coincidence, I'm sure, that it's only the ones that disagree with the current chancellor. All right, I'm going to do one more rundown of what we've got, and before I do that, I'm going to check the live chat. I appreciate I've been going on. It's the hypocrisy that really does, I think, get to me more than anything else. You have the sheer hypocrisy, and then to be accused of that ourselves when. All right, so I do have an image of the country club, and I'm trying to see. Okay, so the country club has confirmed that a wedding was scheduled. We have not confirmed that it was at the wedding, but it multiple sources. So I'm trying to delineate between what we're getting kind of just from individuals versus organizations where we'd be a little more inclined to trust what they're saying. The country club has confirmed that there was a wedding scheduled for today. We don't know if we haven't confirmed whether or not it was at the wedding, although multiple sources that were present for the event said that yes, it was a Jewish wedding. And as the shots were being fired, someone shouted, free Palestine. And thank you, Titan. Thank you, Spider Fate. I will check on that in just a minute. Dunk on You gifted $20 in the event of copyright things. Here you go. Yeah. We got hit hard for yesterday. I checked today. I was just like, do I want to look? We got hit hard. So thank you and thank everybody, because yesterday I think was a good show and it was worth a while. But we got multiple. They're like, strike. Like, okay. Yeah, thank God they can only punish you once for the show. Yeah, and again, none of them were sufficient to take down the channel. We've had that happen more than once. That is truly unpleasant. The only one I was concerned about was CBS taking down the channel, and they, like I said, I would very much like to thank CBS because they do have the right, and on most of their material, if you play it, your channel goes down for a week. It goes down for an entire week. They just did what's called a claim, which means you're not allowed to monetize it. You get demonetized, but you can play it if you'd like, if you're willing to give up the ad revenue and all that. Yeah, we're willing to. We're absolutely willing to. That's what I like about doing my own show. As long as I'm willing to accept the consequences, nobody can stop me. And I'm willing to, because I think that somebody has to. All right. Thank you, Titan. All right, let me... let me just read here. Um, what I'm trying to, so we appear to have a confirmed um, from Donald Trump's, what is it, his social media network, Pravda. Give me a minute. Uh, Pam, I have reviewed 30 statements and postings saying essentially same old story as last time, no action, nothing done. What about Comey, Adam Schiff, pulled Democratic support? That's why two of the worst Dems sent you. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. Okay, so Donald Trump, there is a reported feud between Donald Trump and Pam Bondi. I'm not sure what it's about. Pam Bondi doesn't strike. Nobody in the Trump administration is the feuding type. That's why he gets them. They all kiss their ass. One of them made a fairy tale pop-up book of King Donald Trump and Hillary the Witch trying to get him. That's how he got in. He's not qualified. He's never worked in law enforcement, but they made him the head of the FBI because he made a pop-up book of the. I mean, this would be a joke in any other universe, and not a particularly funny one. So I fire. What I'm not sure. Does anybody know what Trump? Okay. It was their website. Okay. So Dorito found on the website bar mitzvah. So it may have been a bar mitzvah, not. Okay. So it was. It appears to have been a Jewish event. By the way, if you're not Jewish, it might be hard to tell the difference between a Jewish wedding and a bar mitzvah. So it may be that onlookers said, okay, it was a Jewish wedding. Our first reports were not from people who participated in the wedding, who were probably all with their friends and family and too stunned, but from witnesses. So the witnesses may have said it was a wedding and it was a bar mitzvah. At any rate, it appears to have been a Jewish event. One can speculate, and this is just speculation, that that's why it was targeted. That it was targeted for that reason. Apparently, one of the shooters said "Free Palestine now" before opening fire. Spider Fate sent a text through to Titan. If either of you can tell me what it is I'm looking at, because I mean I know what it is, but I have no idea what the context is. It looks like a call to action, but I'm not sure what it is that call is for. So I will hold off on that in a minute, and I'm going to do another rundown. We've got a super chat. It does look like Pam Bondi and Trump are going at each other's throats. Pam Bondi, one of the interesting things about her, I do not like her. I think she has no integrity. I think she's absolutely unskilled at what she does. No, let me rephrase that. I shouldn't say no integrity. Trump has no integrity. Pam Bondi has very low integrity. But that's actually an important difference. That is a qualitative difference, not a quantitative one. I don't think she likes being a bad person. I think she's got a sense of ethics. And it's weird. I don't think she wants to be a bad person. And I don't think this is the job she thought it would be. And I think that's starting to wear on her. Now, she gets no credit, in my view, on a lot of that, because she should have known that's the job it was going to be. Everybody knows. When you sign up for someone based on loyalty, not on skill, this is what you're going to get. But kudos if she's reflecting and starting to decide either that her job is important, because it actually is. It's really important, and it would be nice if she were doing it. And her job isn't to cover for the President of the United States or to take the magic Sharpie and cross his name off the Epstein list or lie and say that the only 2 perpetrators against thousands of victims are either dead or in custody and about to be released. Really? Really? All right. So, um, oh, he wants Pam to pull Halligan to charge Letitia James. Yeah, the charging of Letitia James is obviously a revenge. There's no grounds. He was at. Here's the other thing, and I get this from a number of conservatives, and it ticks me off because it's like if the roles were reversed, they'd remember how the law works. They conveniently forget how the law works. Trump was not found guilty by Letitia James. He was not found guilty by any attorneys. He wasn't found guilty by the judge. He was found guilty by 12 members of his peers, and he and his lawyers had a hand in selecting them. He had more rights than you or I would have had in that position because he had enough money to get a team of lawyers and have as many lawyers as he wanted, and every right was fully followed, and he was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of his peers. That's who convicted him. The American public convicted him in the process that we all get, and he was assumed innocent until proven guilty. 34 counts. Why isn't he going after the jury who convicted him? Because he's never going to be in front of that jury again. He's going after the prosecutors because he doesn't want to be prosecuted for his crimes anymore. It kind of cramps his style. So he wants to make sure that every prosecutor knows never, ever try to bring me to justice again. All they did was present a case to a jury. And the jury said, yeah, he's guilty. He did it. Blame the jury. He can't, though, because they're right. All right. Dunk on You gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Dunk on You, for your continued support. It really helps. Michelle Ferguson, $4.99. Thank you, Nick and mods. Thank you very much, and a special thank you to the mods. This has been a difficult time for everybody. I do my best to maintain my composure. Most of the time, I'm reasonably there. But I'm just the public face. The amount of work that this has done for the mods, the amount of work that they have has probably tripled. A, we're doing almost double the number of shows that we normally do. B, the Discord has more people and more new people who aren't aware of how diligently, we're going to do this right. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to make mistakes, but all of us are stewards of each other here on In Time, and hopefully of the community, and hopefully the community is a steward of us. So, all of the mods have been working harder, and I see it on the back end. You guys, if they're doing their jobs right, you guys don't see it at all. So thank you very much, Michelle Michaels Michelle Ferguson, sorry. Thank you to Nick and the mods, definitely to the mods. I'm the easiest to thank because I'm the one everyone sees. With luck, again, you don't see any of them. With luck, I don't see Titan. Because every time I see him, it's to say something snarky. Michaels, New Zealand 2. You do the business, Nick. Keep doing your thing. Thank you. Paul, something about the way you write that, I just have to memorize it because it always causes my brain to shut down. It's the dyslexia I see here. I don't know. But thank you. I appreciate it, and all of us are going to keep doing the business. Thank you, Titan. All right, so I'm going to do another rundown. I'm going to quickly make a check here. Are we in the right section? 2 suspects in body armor that shot multiple guests in Meadows Country Club. Now, this is being reported by Eli Goldman, who is, that I can tell, just a witness. He is not a member of the press. Says it was a wedding. One has been detained. He says, yeah, free Palestine, but that's unconfirmed. He speaks like somebody who knows what he's doing. Witnesses say one shooter, so there are multiple witnesses. Let me see. Video surveillance has confirmed that there was only one shooter, and they're currently being detained. All right. Dorito, Nick is being too damn long-winded. I'm sorry, Dorito, that's not an official, that you didn't run that by any official who was authorized to empower you to say that, so you're going to have to turn in your credentials at the door. We appreciate your service. Well, not really, but, all right. So this appears to be updated. I'm going to double check what the source is. Video, Nashua police. It's okay. So the Nashua police say that after having, they say if there's a bank robbery and you have 12 witnesses, you're going to get 14 different accounts of what the robber looked like. Obviously, this kind of thing is terrifying and scary. And shots can echo. Shots do echo, so even people who are trained can have a hard time telling where shots came from. It appears as if there was only one shooter. The police did lock everything down. The police ordered a lockdown of the county as they searched for two shooters that they believed had gotten away. It appears at this point that the Nashua police have gone over the video surveillance and have confirmed that there was only one shooter, the one that they currently have in custody. They say that the scene is still an active investigation, but there is no further danger to the public. The lockdown has been released. So, yeah, that's the PD, so that's a good one. And thank you for cleaning the breaking news. I appreciate that. That will be at your trial for saying mean things about me during a show. We'll remember that you kept the breaking channel clean, which I appreciate. All right, so where do we stand? One shooter engaged what we believe at this point was a Jewish wedding. Witnesses say that he said free Palestine before opening fire on the wedding. We have an unconfirmed report that one is dead. We have confirmed reports that multiple are injured. It was believed at the time that it was three shooters. It has turned out now, and the police had even said that they were looking for two active suspects. They had captured one, two were on the loose. They have now retracted that and said that they believe at this point there was only one suspect, the one that they have in custody. So that was in Nashua, New Hampshire. We do not yet know how many are injured or dead, and we cannot confirm that it was a Jewish wedding or that, in fact, he shouted free Palestine. There are multiple witnesses to both, but we don't have sufficient to say that it's been confirmed. So that's what it appears from where we're sitting with this very fresh. Again, it also appeared like there were three people. Turns out there was only one. So that's where we stand with this. We will have more in the probably in the regular news section now that we've covered it in breaking as this unfolds. That is our first story. Our second story is that Pete Hegseth has confirmed a NPR report which says that all members of the press that are covering the Department of Defense, the Department of War, in any way at the Pentagon or in any military building, or even, by the way, embedded with the military. Anyone covering the U.S. military will have to sign this 17-page document, which says that they will not say anything that has not been pre-authorized by the Pentagon to be released. Nothing, and that includes non-classified material. This would essentially turn every single member of the press into a mouthpiece. Here you go. This is what you can say. And that's it. And anyone who will not sign that document or who violates that document will have their press credentials at the Department of War. And he does say that it's the entire department, so it's not just at the Pentagon. Right now, AP, New York Times, a number of people have been, a number of agencies have already been kicked out of the Pentagon. We covered that. This is now going a step further, and it doesn't just cover the Pentagon. The Pentagon has restricted the remaining press there in where they can go without escort. It used to be once you were credentialed for the Pentagon. And by the way, that's not entirely uncommon. There's a number of reasons why there's a White House press corps. One of the biggest reasons to have a White House press corps, and this is something Donald Trump did not understand in his first administration, is because that way when there's a terrorist attack, like on the Twin Towers, you may not know where the president is, but you can know that he's alive because an independent White House press corps that is authorized to be in classified top secret buildings is with him as he goes to the military bunker. And that's in fact what they did. They said, look, I can't tell you where I am. It's classified. But I can tell you, I just talked to the president and he's fine. And we know it because they're independent. They're independent, and they can report on whatever they want to report, but for, again, their security clearance, which is what allows them to do that. There's a number of reasons for a White House press corps. That's the one that people often overlook. They represent us, despite what the Republican senator just said, again, conveniently. I've said this before. I really think that every liberal, every trans, everybody who's a minority should just start buying guns. And not please, I'm not advocating violence. Just buy guns. Because if you want to see a group come out against the Second Amendment, wait until you see what Republicans do when liberals start saying, you're right. It is a right and we should be doing it. Thanks. Oh, no group will come out faster than Republicans against the Second Amendment. All right. So that is a staggering and chilling. And I want to make clear, like I said, I'm not advocating violence. Just the act of going through the registration process. Take your time. You're not going to use it, but go out and if people on the left started buying guns, the right would the NRA would change. The NRA would change position, for crying out loud. And then let me just quickly. Oh. All right. So that's the shooting. We got that cleared and taken care of. Yeah, it was a little bit of a busy afternoon. The last one is reported by MSNBC about 6 or 7 hours ago. It's been picked up. Just about everybody seems to have it now. Tom Homan was being investigated for accepting bribes. He apparently accepted $50,000 in bribes from 2 undercover FBI agents who posed as businessmen who wanted special consideration by the Trump administration and whom he had promised special consideration by the Trump administration in exchange for $50,000, which they paid him in cash in a house that was secured by the FBI, wired for sound, video, the whole 9 yards. So it appears that they've got him dead to rights, at least to that, and the implication is that he was actually accepting bribes from multiple sources repeatedly, which is what got the FBI interested. In fact, if I can see 6 sources inside the Justice Department have confirmed that there is video of him and audio of him accepting $50,000 in cash after indicating that he could help the FBI agents who he believed were business executives win government contracts in Trump's administration. When Kash Patel learned of this, we know roughly when Kash Patel learned of this investigation. He requested an update to the investigation, and less than a week later, the investigation was shut down. So, once again, what appears to be clear, unambiguous evidence of accepting a bribe and the DOJ shuts it down to protect their own. I'd like to point something out. For people who are proud of Trump and, whatever. Bill Clinton lied in a civil suit. It wasn't even a criminal suit. It was a civil suit. Everybody lies in civil suits. Having seen more than my fair share. Wow. They lie. The judges don't, and nobody does because they just assume everybody's lying anyway. It's just accepted in civil cases. It's insane. Lied in a civil suit about the one thing everybody lies about, having an affair. The right decided to make a huge deal about this, an impeachable offense. Having 34 felonies is not an impeachable offense. Murdering 15 people is not an impeachable offense. A lot of things that aren't an impeachable offense. Lying in a civil case apparently is. So, with all of these calls for an investigation into Bill Clinton, what does he do? He assigns a special prosecutor to investigate him. And he unleashes the special prosecutor. Special prosecutor does not report to Clinton. Special prosecutor is independent of the government and will do his own investigation. I think there have been more than enough serious allegations of fraud, bribery. At one point, somebody made an interesting allegation that he could be hit with child trafficking for the however many hundred children he tried to deport to Colombia, I think it was, a couple days ago. With all of this evidence, where's the special prosecutor? Why aren't the Republicans and we know the answer. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to check the live chat one more time, just because you guys have been, I want to make sure you guys have been so nice, and I really do appreciate it, so I want to check the live chat one more time before I bail. It's been a lot of, let's see, earlier we had 2 breaking news. Today we had 3 at the same time, and it happens, but oh dear. All right. Oh, that's right. That shut down. So let me just take a sec and quickly check the live chat, make sure everything's all right. And thank you again to the mods, because I mean most of the mods. And keep in mind, folks, especially in this environment, we need mods more than ever, because there are Russian Vatniks, there's MAGA. There is a level of hatred and angst that this channel has not gone through in a while. We've gone through it before, but it's been a while. When the jihadists were after us, that got interesting. But what keeps the channel running is mods who make sure that the live chat is compliant with our terms of service and with the YouTube's terms of service. And they have to be here when it happens. I let our mods know, I let Titan know about 5 minutes before we went live, because I knew 5 minutes before we went live. So he's my first call. He's just like, we're going live in 5 minutes. He's like, okay. And boom, they're there. So please always make sure you let the mods know how much you appreciate them, because we couldn't do it. At least we couldn't have a live chat, which I think is worth it. I think it's important. And by the way, every now and then I get called out in the live chat, and usually it's of benefit. So thank you. Make sure that you say thanks to them, because they allow that part of the show to happen, and they allow the Discord to happen. The Discord's critical to this show, so it's important. And again, 5 minutes. That's all he got. So thank you, Titan. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everybody, and we will. Oh, hey. Oh, almost made a little bit of a mistake there. That would have been fun, but a bad idea. As you know, if you saw yesterday's show, which I hope if you haven't, you go see. I think it was a good show. We played from The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. We played a segment where they sing Shut Your Trap from Beauty and the Beast, and it's a hilarious bit, and I just realized I haven't pulled it from the system, so my suspicion is if we end the show right now, that's going to play, and then we're going to, yeah, that's still queued. So let me turn that off. I know you guys would like to see that again. I'd like to see that again, but I'm done being demonetized for the week. Jester, $2. Damn it, Nick, the news is your fault. I know. That's not what's my fault. What's my fault is I want to cover it on time. And I know that that's not our slogan, but we do try to be there. So thank you all for joining us. Then why do we keep allowing the... I don't understand what that question is, but... all right. We'll do a discussion show or a call-in at some point because some people have legitimate questions, and that was one of the things we talked about yesterday. There was a legitimate, really good question about Jimmy Kimmel. Is Jimmy Kimmel being a hypocrite for X, Y, and Z? This is a good question. I want good questions. Dialogue is important, but we're all exhausted. We're going to get going. We will catch up with you guys later. Have a good night.